can turn the world on with a smile. You can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile. Well, it's your girl and you should know it. Each words and every little movement you show it. Love is all around, don't need to fake it. You can never down, why don't you take it? You're gonna make it after all.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, January 31st. Oh my goodness, it's already almost February. Can you believe it? 2013, we're already getting into it. And that's exciting because it means today Mark has 523 days left to go on his U.S. prison sentence. And that's not including if he's going to be transferred home at the end of this year. Hopefully that happens, and you can read, as I've mentioned before, Mark's blog about that at cannabisculture.com and freemark.ca. And right next to me, I've got a letter to send off to his prosecutor, hoping he'll endorse Mark's transfer, just as we've had previous elected officials in Canada endorse his transfer. And his own sentencing judge also said he should be allowed to be transferred home. So that campaign is going to get underway even more so in the future, and a new Freemark website also is hopefully in the works. So stay tuned by checking out our sites as much as possible and seeing what you can do to help Mark. I did visit him this last weekend, and he's in pretty positive spirits, but he's feeling pretty antsy to get home. He's in the last third of the sentence, and it's kind of difficult when you're getting closer and closer to freedom. Every day seems to take more and more time to pass, but we're getting through it thanks to everybody's support, and we so appreciate that. Now, tomorrow there are two important news alerts you should know about. The first is down in the United States. Many of you have heard, I hope, of Chris Williams. He was a cultivator of legal medical marijuana, and in Montana he is being facing life in prison for his role under the federal laws. Of course, this has been pushed by Obama's administration, who said that they would allow states to continue their medical marijuana programs, but people continue to get arrested by federal agents and charged under federal law all the time. Chris Williams is one of those victims, and many others were taken down at the same time. And I encourage you to go to cannabisculture.com. Tomorrow his sentence will be decided and announced. So there is a caravan or a journey for justice. It's a caravan of supporters who have been going from Los Angeles to Missoula, and they're going to be there to show their support to him. Please check out cannabisculture.com for that news, or Google the name Chris Williams and you'll be able to find the Facebook page and other information about this poor victim of a drug war that continues despite so much progress being made in the very same country. And tomorrow also in Ontario, here in Canada, we're going to have a big decision released as well. The Ontario Court of Appeals is going to release their decision on Matt Murnau's case. Now, Matt Murnau is a dear friend, a contributor to Pot TV and Cannabis Culture, and such a hardcore activist for somebody who I know suffers so much pain. And he's had quite an ordeal and a journey himself with his fight for medical marijuana. And basically, he's had a different sort of medical use than most Canadians under the medical marijuana access regulations. And he is arguing that the doctors are not allowing enough people to get access. He wasn't able to find a doctor despite many ailments that should qualify him for medical marijuana. Anyway, his decision originally was that the marijuana laws entirely across Canada were invalid. The judge had said that he believes prohibition is causing this harm, and so it shouldn't continue. And you can read these old articles at Cannabis Culture. But the federal government, the Conservatives under Stephen Harper, appealed that decision, and that was almost a year ago. It was back in May or June or July last year. We were there for Matt in court. But now they're finally releasing their decision, and it could go two ways. They can say that the government is doing enough now to make medical marijuana more available, or they can say that the laws against marijuana in Canada are not unconstitutional and not allowed and will not stand. And that would be a repeat decision similar to the summer of legalization back in 2003. Many of you may remember Mark Emery going across the country on a tour, smoking pot at police stations to say, listen, the courts have said these laws are not in effect and I'll prove it to you. And he did by getting all those charges dismissed during the summer of 2003. And we may have something similar to that happen coming up tomorrow. Matt Murnaugh is going to get his decision, and you can tune in live on pot.tv for Jeremiah Vandermeer's show, Cannabis Culture News Live. He's the editor of Cannabis Culture. He'll be interviewing Matt Murnaugh and talking about the details of what the decision is, and we'll know by then whether it's good or bad or what it means, and we'll start picking that apart and hashing out all the details. So those are two cases to keep your minds attuned to when you're out there. Look up on cannabisculture.com and pot.tv tomorrow for the results of those decisions. And really, I'm praying for the best for Chris Williams. I know it's completely unjust what he's facing, and Mark sends his regards too. I've been keeping him updated on that case. Now, I want to talk about briefly here victims of the drug war who aren't even involved in marijuana. Some of you may know the story, which we've shared at Cannabis Culture, about the Texas trooper who pulled over a vehicle with a woman and her niece in it and claimed that she thought they were acting funny and suspected them of marijuana use. Now, she pulled these women out on the side of the street and did a cavity search, both in their vaginas and in their rectums. I'm going to put it bluntly. She molested them on the side of the road with the same gloves for the aunt and her niece, and these women didn't even have any marijuana. They were not smoking it, they did not smell of it, they didn't possess it, there wasn't any found in the car, so they had to let these poor victims go after being sexually raped by an agent of the state. That case made me and so many other people outraged, and thankfully we've just learned yesterday that that trooper has been fired, which is so rare when you're dealing with police and the horrific abuses that they carry out on people. So to have finally a little bit of justice, that cop got terminated for doing that, you know, it doesn't take away what happened to those poor women who had nothing to do with pot, but it's a reminder that marijuana prohibition is making victims out of people who have nothing to do with pot. It's costing everybody money, it's costing everybody their civil liberties, and it's got to end. And when people say that marijuana legalization isn't a big issue, please remind them that in the United States and elsewhere, police go into schools and line little children up against walls and bring giant slobbering dogs to sniff out pot. Like, that is an atrocity. That should not be happening. There's only one other time I can really think of dogs being used to terrify people, and that's all in the name of marijuana prohibition, and that's what we're fighting against. So think as you sit there perhaps smoking your joint right now or enjoying your medicine that's healing you right now, just remember all the victims. They go far beyond our own community, far beyond the cannabis culture, and that's also who we're fighting for. We've got to do this for the entire world. It is that important. So blessings and best wishes to you, Chris, tomorrow, and Matt Murnaugh as well for you. I hope it turns out well, and we're just going to keep on fighting here until Mark comes home and until everyone comes home. And on that note, last week I didn't do the draw for the Free Mark t-shirt, the prize pack of having a Free Mark t-shirt and some buttons and a sticker. I'm going to get these sent out to a winner. I have 2 weeks worth of entries in the bubble bag, and bubble bags and more always at our store, cannabisculture.com/store. And right now we've got 20% off hemp hoodlum coats, which is a great deal. And we've also got a lot of other sales on, and 30% off Heady glass. And Canadians are now able to buy glass online. So check that out at cannabisculture.com/store. And on Instagram at CCHQ Store, you can see all these great pictures of stuff we've got. So now the winner will be, let's grab this one here, Linda Green. What a good name you got. So you're the winner. I'm going to be sending you a message to get your shirt size, and we'll be getting those sent out to everyone. And thank you for your continued support, because when you support Cannabis Culture Headquarters Store and cannabisculture.com and pot.tv, you're helping support a marijuana movement that Mark Emery planted the seeds for. And keep up the fight out there, everybody. We're all in it together. As often as you've heard it, it's totally true. So let's not sink. Let's keep swimming, and hopefully get to a happier future together. So all the best to you, Chris. I'll be staying tuned, and God, I hope it's not bad for you and everyone else out there too. Take it easy, and free Mark Emery.